Thank you very much for having me here in Tallinn today. It's my first time here, and I have to say I also have a floor on the 21st floor, and the view is spectacular from up there. I'm here today to talk to you about TripAdvisor and how you can use it. It's digging down deeper into what Martin has just discussed with you. It's taking a very kind of a through line about how you can actually utilize user-generated content, how you can upload your own content, and how you can make TripAdvisor work for you, be it for a hotelier, for an attraction, for a restaurant, for a tour. It's about building on that content. It's telling those stories alongside your actual users. So, TripAdvisor today is a phenomenon that's been around for the last 10 years. It was born out of an office above a pizza shop outside of Boston, basically because my CEO was unable to find the correct hotel for his wife's anniversary. So being one of the web aficionados, he built a spider, crawled the web and was unable to find any content whatsoever to differentiate between two brochure requests. Unfortunately, he chose the wrong one. It didn't go down well with his wife, and he decided that he needed to do something about it. So what eventually has rolled and started being primarily in the US has now actually got 30 points of sale across the world. We've just launched in Arabic, so we have our first right to left. We also have Thai, we're in English, Finnish, Polish, Russian. We are constantly expanding to be able to take the content of the masses and be able to distribute them around the world. Very proud to say that we are now currently the largest travel media website in the world, which is one of the reasons why I'm here, because it can actually be quite a daunting experience to know how to use TripAdvisor. And that's why we really are trying to work alongside you as businesses as well as from the consumer perspective. So the question is, how do you now talk to the 50 million unique users we have a month around the world? How do you upload the content so that when they are searching for Estonia, or they're searching for walking tours or anything that Estonia has to offer, how is it that you can actually utilize and talk to those people as well as the users talking to each other? A couple of numbers just to show you. Obviously, your key markets being Finnish and Russian. However, with the likes of Ryanair and EasyJet and the low-cost carriers coming into Estonia, you have emerging markets that you can also tap into. We want to look at those around the world to see how you can actually talk to them. And basically, it's backwards. So what I've looked at for you is, in terms of TripAdvisor and our users, which countries are viewing Estonian content. As you can see, actually, we have a huge proportion. Our #1 market for viewing Estonia is actually from Great Britain, followed by the US. Finland, as expected, Estonia itself, your local markets, followed by Germany and Sweden. Obviously, this is slightly contradictory to your actual market knowledge yourselves, but this being the fact that TripAdvisor is still fairly new into actually the Estonian market. We have around about 55,000 unique users who come from Estonia, looking on TripAdvisor at the moment. What we've also been able to do is look at the seasonality. Any of this that you require afterwards, if you want me to send you the details, I'm more than happy to do. It just means that we're able to track. And as you can see, what we've got is there's a huge growth of interest in Estonia as a destination. It's really going from leaps and bounds. So from 2009, you're around about 100,000 page impressions a month of views of Estonia as a destination. Now, actually, you've gone up to 350,000. That's trebled in just 3 years. Estonia as a destination is becoming exciting. What we want to do is help you actually get the content on there so that when people are looking and searching for Estonia, they're able to find what's going to convert them. They're able to see the hero images, they're able to read the stories, and they're actually able to end up coming and visiting and going back and telling their own stories. So currently, on TripAdvisor, we have 215 hotels from Estonia. Now, doing my research, That means about 20% of the hotels within your country are on TripAdvisor. That's a huge, huge amount that are missing out being able to have those conversations with your potential customers. What we can do, and what I'll show you, is both in terms of your tourism boards, how you can upload your destinations, and how you can do it yourselves. It's about managing that content. We also have 93 bed and breakfasts listed. 308 restaurants, so restaurants are doing incredibly well in terms of getting up and getting live on TripAdvisor. And 117 things to do. This is key, again. Please, as an ambassador for Estonia, even if you're not within the tourism industry, go on, talk to our users about the things that you can do in Estonia. It's about the public talking to the public. It's power to the people. It's power to the message. So this is something you can do from a very personal standpoint. What you need to do, as we were discussing with Martin, is you've got to identify your potential customers, and you need to talk to them through the various different journeys and different aspects. Obviously, a lot of you are here from hotels, from airlines, from tour operators, and again, the touch points that we have within TripAdvisor allow you to talk to them in those different ways, either via the content, through advertising contextually that we do also have on the website. There are ways that you can convert your clients, but it's about that content. Content at the moment is king. That is what you have to concentrate on. So a couple of things that we're doing at the moment is we're working alongside Facebook with something called instant personalization. What you probably don't ever think about with Facebook is people rarely log out. You'll close down, but actually, as soon as you get back on, open your laptop back up, you're still logged in as you into your Facebook account. Same goes for TripAdvisor. If you've logged in as a member, you, again, rarely log out. So what we're now doing is TripAdvisor and Facebook are talking to each other. So if you go onto the page and you type in Estonia, what will actually come up will be the number of friends that you have that have visited Estonia. So you can instantly message them and ask them, where have they stayed? What did they do? Where should you go? We're one of only 8 companies that are working in this manner with Facebook at the moment, and it's a really exciting thing for us. And it all comes from the Cities I Visited map. So your friends pin where they've been, you pin where you want to go, and it talks to each other. So as you can see here, that's just an example. So I have 4 friends who've been to Estonia, and I was able to ask them what the hotel was like, what should I do when I get here, what restaurant should I go to. Again, this is content that you can also upload and you can use. And augmented reality. We were not the first in the mobile field. Up until about 2 years ago, we were a little bit backwards. We hadn't quite recognized how big mobile was eventually going to turn out. We then hired some NYT grads who were about 20, who managed to persuade my 50-year-old CEO that perhaps mobile was the way forward, and even though he was still on analog, that it was time that he kind of upgraded to smartphone, and only then did Steve realize the true potential that was there. So with our augmented reality app, what you have is you stand there with your smartphone, your iPad, you're down in the medieval town in Estonia, you don't know where to go for dinner. So you hold up your app, you look around. Every restaurant that is listed on TripAdvisor will show up in the location that it is. Again, this is why you need to upload your information. You need to get on the website, because what you want is for your restaurant to be there. And if your restaurant's listed, and if when you speak to your clients and your users and your customers and you've given them the good service and they've walked away having the most romantic meal ever and it's a memory for them and they're so excited to have been that they go straight on, and because they're a TripAdvisor user, they review, or because you've spoken to them about it, you've said, actually, we want to be up there. We know you've had a brilliant experience. Please go on, talk about us. What the user will then be able to see in augmented reality is what the reviews have been. So they get the option to choose between your beautiful restaurant that has 5 stars and McDonald's that has 1 star, because they can actually access what users are saying in situ, there and then. It's immediate. Travel guides are brilliant. I absolutely love them. I buy them for every destination I go to. But they can be out of date. The difference with online is there's an immediacy. We have 26 pieces of content uploaded every single minute. That means that a restaurant, as it changes hands, if it has a bad experience, it can go up there. Everyone knows the story of the users of Twitter who walk into the hotel, they have a rude front of house staff. By the time they've gone upstairs, they've tweeted about the fact they've had such an appalling time to all their friends and family, they've hashtagged the name of the hotel, and immediately what happens is the hotel brings up a bottle of champagne, apologizes profusely, and they go away actually having a good experience. But this is why it's such a service culture now, and this is why we really need to grasp onto how important that is, because people talk. And the whole communication network has changed. We're in a different world now to where we were 5, 10 years ago. And it's about grasping that new world. So in terms of the power of user-generated content, a few stats from Forrester for you. Unsurprisingly, well, now anyway, 81% of travelers say that reviews are important to them. 75% said that their holiday was better because actually reviews enabled them to make the right decisions in the first place. And finally, we're in a lucky position that 83% of the Focusrite respondents, or sorry, the Forrester respondents, actually said that they would consult TripAdvisor. Because the way I always talk about it is TripAdvisor is free. As a user, why would you not go and check before you make a booking at a hotel, or a restaurant, or an attraction? Why would you not go on and just see what other people have to say? And of course, you always do have to have a modicum of sense about it. Not everyone can be pleased all of the time. I have a very strange way of doing it. I always go and have a look at the negative review first, just because I can't quite help myself. See what it has to say. It's normally something to do with the fact that the melon was warm. So you can bypass that, look to the good reviews and see what people are talking about and what are they saying about you. And therefore, the user is actually able to make a very considered decision. Again, this is why it's important that your content is up there to allow users to write about the good experiences that you're giving them. In terms of booking the hotel, again, it's just looking at the user-generated content. Where does it fit in? Obviously, you can see that one of the massive influences for purchasing is location. It's unsurprising. If you're coming to Estonia for a 3-day holiday, it's unlikely that you want to be stuck by the airport, you want to be in the center of town. However, the second largest thing is traveler reviews. People are listening to people. They no longer take the expert advice. They will, as part and parcel of their research, do that, but it's about the wisdom of the masses and the wisdom of your friends. It's why the linking in with Facebook is so important. It's why getting the content up here is so important. Again, it's all about the content. Get your photos on. It's about those hero images. It's the images that Martin was showing, an image from Tyrrell that speaks 1,000 words of just the platform out there. You get immediately a sense of where you're going to be. I've recently come back from Cape Town, and the one thing I wanted to do was go up Table Mountain, because the first thing that happened when I got into the airport was I saw this beautiful, beautiful vista of the view from the top of Table Mountain. And immediately it touched me. I was like, I need to go there, and this is what you need to do. That augmented reality over there. And so it's about getting the information, it's about the reviews, it's about the photos, it's about content. So, how do you get your content up there? For several of you, you are already listed either as a tour, as an attraction, the 308 restaurants, the hotels, the bed and breakfasts, the campsites. What you need to do if you're already loaded is go onto TripAdvisor in whichever language you prefer, and whichever site you prefer as well. Everything will get translated. And type in the name of, we'll use hotels as an example. Type in the name of your hotel. Scroll down to the bottom of the page. At the bottom of the page will be the question, are you the manager of this hotel? At which point you simply click through yes. And what happens is you land on this page here. So what this allows you to do is begin to manage your own page, because anybody can actually put your hotel online. It's freedom of the internet. So what you want to do is actually be able to take a little bit of that power back to be able to kind of add your own bespoke images, be able to upload your own data to make sure that the data that's on the internet is actually correct. That's one of the key points. So within the management center, you'll have various online marketing tools. What it will allow you to do is receive RSS feeds. So if somebody should write a review of your hotel, immediately that goes up, it will land in your inbox. It's key. It allows you to immediately know what people are saying about you there and then. It also allows you to respond. And I will touch on responses in a little bit, but responses are key. What it will also allow you to do is go in and ask about marketing. It will teach you how to make a short 2-minute film. It's packed full of information. It also phenomenally gives you, and this is all free. This is the key. This doesn't cost anything. It just costs a bit of time. A little bit of time, a little bit of patience, and it can work wonders. Because what you'll actually be able to do is, on the right hand in the Track Your Property's Performance, is you can choose your 2 closest competitors, and you can see how they're doing. You can see where they stand in the ratings. You can see how many positive, negative, 3-star, 4-star reviews they're having. You can compare yourselves. So it could be the fact that actually they've started allowing breakfast to start at 5:30 a.m. and run until 12. And people are loving this, yet your breakfast runs from 7 until 9. Okay, easily to change. But it's about monitoring what other people are doing right, what they're doing wrong, and actually changing your behavior to make sure that your user gets the best experience possible and then tells everybody else about it. What you can also do is you can encourage new reviews. So cards, leave-behinds. In America at the moment, they really have embraced TripAdvisor, and 3 hotels I've been in so far have been cookies with icing that said, write a review on TripAdvisor. There are millions and millions of ways of doing it. However, we've given you 3 stock standard. You can print these out and leave them in the hotel rooms just to encourage, just to follow up, just to make sure that they had the best experience. And the interesting thing about TripAdvisor is 80% of the reviews on TripAdvisor are positive. They're 4 stars and above. People don't come to write about a mundane hotel that was just okay. Most of the time, people use it much like, I always talk about the New York taxi driver. You get in your New York taxi, you've never been to New York before, and you say, what should I do? The New York taxi driver says, well, I wouldn't go here, it's quite average. I definitely wouldn't go here, it's terrible. Go here, go to the Hudson, go to the Brooklyn Bridge, make sure you climb the Empire State Building, because he's a brand ambassador. And he's talking to you because he wants to inspire you. He wants to make sure that your holiday is the best it can be. And that's exactly what we're trying to do at TripAdvisor. Our users are coming on and they're writing hugely positive things. They're excited by where they've stayed. They've had dream holidays. And in the economic cycle that we're in at the moment, actually, holiday is so important. And it's important to get it right. No one wants to turn up to find the building site next door to their dream holiday for 2 weeks that they've spent 2,000 euros on. And we're here to help, and you too can help that as well, because the more content, back to content, that is on there, the easier it is for users to then come back and write, and for people to make decisions based upon that. Within the centre as well, we also talk about the fraud policy. This always comes up, so I will address it now. We have very stringent measures when it comes to fraud. There is often press around fraudulent reviews. What should you do? We have policies in place. We have an entire crack team who keep changing their names. At the moment, they're the fraud police. They are monitoring on a daily basis what happens. Within this centre, if you believe that a review is incorrect, which is why the RSS feed is so important, because as soon as it comes into your inbox, you can suddenly say, well, actually, no, that's quite strange, that doesn't seem right. You can report it. We then investigate. We have complicated algorithms, which I can't tell you what they are, because if I tell people what the algorithms are, then people who want to write fraudulent reviews can write fraudulent reviews and get around our system. It's a self-policing mechanism. You tend to find that a lot of people that are coming on who will have actually stayed at the resort, and if they see something that looks a little bit kooky, they'll report it, they'll flag it, they'll get in touch with us. We will deal with the situation. There's very, very few issues that we tend to have. We also can track IP addresses, so if the hotel next door writes a review about you, it will show up that the IP address is actually your next door hotel, and therefore it's probably a little bit unusual. Apparently Vietnam is rife. They're all trying to write reviews about each other. But with the help of the management center, I don't quite know why Vietnam, but apparently it is a big problem over there. With the help of the management center, we can help you deal with any issues that you should have. In terms of who's already using it, you can also put TripAdvisor on your site. Though this is an example of Novotel, part of the core group. They are now taking our ratings on their own web pages. So they're confident enough in their actual property that they're quite happy to have our ratings, live feed, latest rating coming up, and links straight through for how to actually read reviews about your site and about your hotel. Again, these are free tools for you. We found in studies that we've done that 75% of users that were asked if they saw a TripAdvisor review out of context and on the hotel website, did it influence them? And they said, yes, it did. It made them feel confident. It made them feel as though the power of trust that we have from the reviews was transferred across to the client's website because the client was confident enough. We have large online travel agents at the moment who are taking our content, taking our reviews, the Expedias, the Thomas Cooks, the TUIs. All of this is kind of crossing over into the content sphere. It's taking ours onto yours and yours onto ours, and it works incredibly well. This is just a slightly expanded version, so what you'll see are the last 5 or 6 reviews, and it's every star rating. So if there's a bad rating in there, it shows up. And it's important because there's no editing allowed. You have to be confident enough, and this is, again, key. Make sure that your attraction staff know that they are, as Martin was saying, the brand ambassadors. They're the people that are on the ground. They are the people that are going to make the difference, and they're the people that are going to influence this and make people decide whether they're going to come to your property, your restaurant, your attraction, your tour. In terms of actual destinations as well, so Estonia, or any of the towns or cities or provinces within, you can also upload your own content. Obviously, we have users uploading videos and photos all the time, but what you can do is upload your classic photos, your professionally taken images, and you can upload them. You can link off from, as Estonia do, and I'll show you an example in a moment, from your destination marketing page back onto TripAdvisor where people can get more content and more information. You can write edit articles, you can talk to them about what they should do. It's a voice of people who are researching your destination. You can talk to them and make the difference. You can actually push them into the buy cycle to buy the flight, to book the hotel, to come. And this is the TripAdvisor example on Visit Estonia. So you can see here actually at the bottom of the homepage, you can click straight off onto our content. And again, what we're trying to encourage you to do is we can lead people off to the Estonian content, but what we want is more of it. We want to make it stickier. We want to make it more interesting for our users, and we want you to showcase Estonia. For example, editing the page. So there's just so much that you can actually do. And as I said, it takes a little bit of time, but it doesn't cost anything. It's an interesting way of actually using your marketing and talking to those who are interested. And on the responses, please respond. If you ever get a negative review, a response is key. Address the issue, address it politely. Pretend in the forum on TripAdvisor as though you are stood in your hotel lobby and there are 6 other people waiting to check in. Be polite, never be rude, never start an argument, it doesn't go down well. The one thing that is interesting is only the management have the right of response. There cannot be an open argument within the page of TripAdvisor. The user that wrote the review does not then have the right to respond again. You take it offline. And apologize. Say how you'll do things better. Take the key learnings. Again, research shows that it can change the mindset. A bad review will put people off. A bad review with a good management response will make our users know that the management cares. And it actually can change what would have been a lost booking into a made booking. Also, comment on the good stuff. You don't have to comment on everything, but it's really nice to actually see that the management is enjoying seeing the fact that there are good reviews. Positive response, thanking people, saying you enjoyed, they loved their stay, or you're so glad that their tour was brilliant and they've gone home with such wonderful memories of Tallinn. It's just important to keep that interaction and dialogue open and to actually remember that this is your forum and you've got to make sure that you're in control of it. And finally, be active in the forums. And again, all of you can do this as actual Estonians. You don't have to be affiliated. If you've been to a wonderful museum, if you have seen the most beautiful landscape in the world, get it up there, get it talked about. The forums are hugely active. 98% of forum posts are responded to within 48 hours. It's people asking about what they should do, where they should go. It's your chance as citizens and ambassadors of your country to talk to the users and to make sure that they know what they can do, to make sure that they actually realize the interest and beauty that there is here. This is something that you can do on a personal basis. So I hope that gives you the basics of kind of how to utilize TripAdvisor. I have PDF formats that take you right through to listing your hotel from the very first place, up to advertorials and sponsorships and everything else you can do, which I can, by the wonder of the first social media, email to you. So do you have any questions?
And I used TripAdvisor already 5 years or 4 years. But I have a question about your IP policies. Because there have been, in my case, 2 times when I write review, staying in hotel in same time by Wi-Fi, then these reviews are lost. And also I got from our customers feedback that they have wrote something and it somewhere doesn't appear or disappearing. So what means this IP control? Does it mean that if there are from same IP comes several reviews, then you start to block them because it's not reasonable?
It's basically one of the policies which is something that we're trying to change because we now have mobile. So obviously in your mobile means that you can actually be ready to check out, have a spare 20 minutes, and you can type your review whilst you're sat in the hotel. Obviously that flags at the fraud side because it could look as though the hotel is writing a positive review. It's something that we are in the process of looking into because we realize now that it's potentially a problem.
Okay, does it mean that currently in our hotel it's not a good idea to put people inside rooms, ideas that if you have time and you are satisfied with us, share your trip in TripAdvisor, because we have Wi-Fi in all rooms and most of them have laptops, so if they write reviews then we don't get feedback.
In all honesty, as a traveller, I'm talking from my personal perspective, I very rarely actually write the review when I'm in the hotel. It is possible. I would just talk to them and say, please review when you get home. And if it takes actually explaining in some way that it's possible that it'll get lost because you're reviewing from the very hotel, I think be open, be upfront, and be honest with them. As I say, it's something that it is in the process of changing, but speed wins is our motto.
Yes, but maybe you can put this market also to TripAdvisor because it is a big problem, I guess, for hotels.
Sure. It's something I'll talk to the team about when I get back and make sure if you give me your email address afterwards.
I will write you. I have contacts.
Yeah,
and I would like some more question, but it's already less important. Thank you.
No problem.
Aitäh, kas on veel küsimusi?
Hello, Kristo Tohver from Niitvälja Golf Club, and I've been using TripAdvisor for 5 years probably now. Thank you very much for a great site. I see now that you have more and more started to have a look at the attractions part. You started off with hotels and restaurants. How is the attractions coming along? Because at the moment I just checked out Tallinn, and I think London had about 150 attractions, Tallinn had about 70. How is that progressing, and will that be more in the segmented markets, let's say for theatres in the theatres and golf courses in the golf course pages, or will TripAdvisor try to kind of get that market to their site as well?
It's true. We've changed. 2000, when we launched, it was 99% about hotel reviews. Now, actually, hotel reviews only make up 30% of the entire site. We've got nearly 1 million restaurants on there, and as you say, attractions is one of the big things that's coming up. A lot of it is about the users themselves. So it's encouraging users, when at your actual attraction, to go on and possibly even load it in for the first time. Because we can't load every single attraction in the world because we don't have a list of them. The other thing that we can do that we've been discussing with the Australian Tourist Board at the moment is the fact that the Australian Tourist Board are giving us a list of all of their hotels, attractions, restaurants in an Excel format, which we will then upload at the back end. So it's something that it takes the more technical side of things to kind of understand about how to do it, but it's a conversation that I'm going to try and have with the Estonian Tourist Board to make sure that if we can actually get everything up there in the first place, then when people are actually searching for the attractions, they're there and they can start reviewing. Otherwise, it does rely on the person who's gone to a zoo for the first time and there's no review, actually going and then uploading that attraction. Or the owner of the attraction and the manager of the attraction can then go and upload it themselves. It's something that's grown more organically rather than us pushing for it.
Okay, thank you, Victoria. Kas on veel küsimusi või lähme edasi? Okay. Just a small gift for you.
One question.
Üks hetk.
Martin from Austria. How many reviews are negative?
About 15%. And they're generally very negative, in fairness. You have a look that we've got the top 10 dirtiest hotels of the year, and some of the photographs that come with them are absolutely terrifying. Although, on a positive point, we did have one gentleman who ran into my managing director about 3 years ago, and we produced the list for the first time, and he had 6 properties of the top 10 dirtiest hotels in Europe on there. And so my MD was a bit like, uh-oh, had the conversation, he was very angry. Following year, Mark ran into him again, and he came bounding up, gave him a big hug and said, Mark, this is brilliant. And Mark had been avoiding him the entire time because there were a number of properties on there again. He went, it's brilliant. We've only got 3 in the top 10 this year. We've made a difference. So they'd started investing, they'd started putting money back in, and they'd changed the way they were looking at it. But you tend to do get toenails in the soap type photographs of some of the really nasty ones.
And do hoteliers already react or answer to such?
Generally, we encourage them to. The whole point of TripAdvisor is to make travel more transparent for the users, so that they don't end up in a hotel which, like the one I've stayed in New York, which is the #1 dirtiest hotel in New York. I was a student. You get the option, and what we're trying to do is say, okay, fine, so if 10 reviews have said that are really negative, and they've said that your front of house staff are rude, ignorant and unfriendly, well, take that criticism and actually go and find out whether your front of house staff are, and if they are, do something about it. It's a tool. Thomas Cook, for example, used our reviews and used the negative ones because they needed to whittle down their distribution list. And they actually took off hotels that were performing really badly because they gave them the option. They sent the RSS feeds through and said, right, these are the reviews. We've sent through people who have checked, and yes, they are accurate, they're bad. Either do something about it, sort your hotels out, or we're no longer distributing you on your list. And they had the option. Sometimes there are simply bad hotels, but we just want to try and make them better, and it's giving them those tools. So yeah, they don't always like it.
Teeme aplausi Victoriale.
Thank you.